Hello and welcome back to the FlurrySports Podcast. It's season 10. We made it double digits. After this, we can cancel the show. Who knows? This is the season. Every show peaks in season 10. So spoiler alert, this is a big one. And we're going to start it off with a bang. It's March Madness season. And we, as we always do, we predict things in sports scarily accurate.
Hold on, I got to tell you. I can hear him in my ear. Can you hear him too? Our sisters are here.
No? Can you actually hear them?
Can you? I feel like I got pulled into another call. Okay, there they are. I got pulled into two restreams. Dude, it was like Ghost and Christmas Present. Okay, I'm out of that one now. Literally.
That's terrifying on multiple accounts. I don't even know how that's possible. But
we're live here. I'm so sorry, folks, but I just need folks to explain. Like I can just hear. I think they knew what was happening, so I could just hear Hannah going, Jacob, and I'm like, son of a bitch, they're in the room with me.
That's actually terrifying. I would have. You kept her cool more than I would have. You can't hear them now. Are they gone?
They're gone. I exited. Another tab had gotten open somehow, and I might have done it. I don't know. That was more my cool, was like quickly figure out what's breaking the stream in case I'm broadcasting on two podcasts.
You may have been. That would have been legendary as well. You know,
but
see if you can say the right thing at both podcasts at the same time.
That said, honestly, we couldn't be starting better. Welcome, folks. I'm so excited to have everyone here. So much has happened since we've been gone, so I'm excited to get back into the swing of things. We are predicting brackets today. John Cena's a fucking douchebag now. Luke is a Laker. So much has happened.
That happened during the break. You're right. Yeah. There has been a lot. Pretty much the biggest stories of the year have happened while we were off. Coincidence? Did they not want us covering it in the most accurate, brain-busting way possible? It's certainly possible. Obviously, this is the NFL offseason show.
Yeah.
So during the NFL season, we talk a lot about NFL. During the offseason, it's obviously sprinkled in, but you know, there's no boundaries for what the show can accomplish during season 10. But next week, we probably will talk a little bit more about NFL because truly a lot happened. And we'll play some sort of game to figure out what the hell happened when we were gone. But today, predicting March Madness, we are going to create the perfect bracket. And so long, everyone's been hunting the perfect bracket, and no one's been able to do it. We consider ourselves big game hunters of the highest degree, illegal or legal, who knows? But today, Warren Buffett, we're coming for your money. We've come up with 8 different strategies to pick the perfect bracket, and we are going to introduce them. We're going to show you the bracket, and we may, if we have time, even do one just based on probability at the very end. We will be spinning a wheel, which is everyone's favorite thing. Shout out Price is Right. Is there anything you'd like to say before we get started? Because I think your bracket is going to be first, the control bracket.
Yeah, my control bracket is first. I would just like to say someone's got to do it, so it's going to goddamn be us. Here's all I know about the perfect bracket. Nothing we've tried has worked.
Exactly. Oh, we got to have the 12 over 5. Do we? Because you predict it wrong every year.
It is kind of wild to me, like this. I don't want anyone else to ever do this. I either want it to be us or no one. Because it's cool that like humanity has thrown themselves at something so fully every year. Can't do it. Just can't get it to work out. No one, as humanity has done everything else, no one can see Grand Canyon coming.
True. I feel like your thought was the least unique thought you've ever had. It's the same thing as every time I buy a lottery ticket, I would like me to win it or nobody. You're correct. Like that's exactly. I'm with you though. I want us to predict the perfect bracket. I don't want Joe Lunard to do it. How boring would that be if Joe Lunard is the first one to do it? Oh, good for you. Great.
Yeah. And like, I truly like, no one deserves it but us.
Yeah, I agree.
That's where I'm kind of at. Like, it's one of those, and everyone listening is thinking the exact same thing, but it's one of those, I don't know if I'd be proud about anyone doing it. Like,
yeah,
like someone, because either someone just picks one right. Would you rather have it be an expert or some schmuck who like
Schmuck, of course.
Schmuck for sure. Yeah, 100%. Who's like, I was just picking out vibes. Honestly, the only way I'd be somewhat happy if a rando did it is like pure team loyalty. Like someone got
Sure.
the bracket right. They are like an alumni of VCU. It's like, well, I
Mhm.
was the only one who had VCU going to the Sweet 16. Okay.
It's like, halftime at a basketball game, $50,000 are on the line. A fan is getting called down to make a half court shot for 50 grand. If it's Steph Curry, okay, like I don't care. I want it to be that long-haired hippie who's just chucking it. I want him to win the 50 grand. If Steph Curry makes a half court shot, I don't care. Not only does he not deserve it, but he should make it. If he doesn't, I'm going to judge him for not making it. Lunard-who, I'm judging you for not having a perfect bracket.
He
This is
should.
the only thing you do. That's
And by
it.
by the way, college basketball experts have such a easier, not easier because it's obviously a harder task, but like we rip apart mock drafts for like everything else. Like the NFL mock draft, Mel Kelper Jr. is a fucking joke, like everything else.
Sure.
We get to throw Lenardi and everyone else gets to throw brackets out there. It's like, oh, 50%.
Mhm.
What are you gonna do? Like,
They are relevant for like 3 weeks of the year. 1 week is
yes.
the actual Super Bowl for them, which is this week, and if they miss, who cares? But the 2 weeks prior to it, they get to decide which teams are on the bubble, as if the committee is asking them whatsoever. North Carolina, you're on the bubble. You better win. Oh, you lost? I don't know. I think you're the first 4 out. And then committee says, nah, you're in. Doesn't matter. So, Lenardi, doesn't matter. When you're listening to this show today, just
Yeah.
picture 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, some fan created the perfect bracket and they are on every single news show. They're coming on ESPN. They're on CNBC. They're on every top tier news. How did you predict the perfect bracket? And it's going to be one of us, maybe both of us, explaining our methodology that we will be explaining to you today. That's
Yes.
what the show is today.
Perhaps the funniest outcome will be first, which is my control bracket, which is literally just something else to compare to. I picked my bracket somewhat normally. I will say I was influenced a little bit by the other experiments I was doing. And my
Okay.
kind of, as we go through it, my mindset is I always fill out brackets to win pools.
Sure.
So I kept
Sure.
that the same. So my control bracket is not attempting to be the perfect bracket, is attempting to win my like extended family pool that I do with Claire's side. So that is
Yeah, there's some
kind of
safety that has to be in place, right? You're not predicting a crazy upset when you know everybody else is probably going to be the same. You just need to be one pick better than the next best person.
absolutely that's a mindset. And the other one is I am very influenced by like 1 4 seed always loses. Like 1 1
Sure.
seed isn't in the final four usually. Like I try and somewhat do standards because otherwise you're going to drive yourself crazy. So I'm just like, okay, which one of these 1 seeds doesn't make the final four? Which 3 seed looks the dumbest? I don't know. And then you kind of go from there. You pick 1 5 through 8 that you think is going to make a run. And then otherwise you kind of stick chalk. That's kind of what the numbers tell you. And then it's all about picking the right team. So that is my control bracket for today. And as we pull
Yeah.
it up on screen, if you have any comments to throw in, like, hey, good pick, you can put that in the chat as we
If
go.
you have any positive reinforcement, feel free to fire away.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Do you want me to also very important thing beforehand? We're not college basketball experts, just so you know. Let's
No,
get that out of the way.
I do work at a college.
You do work at a college. That's step one, is what I hear. So not bad. Um, and you've also been to multiple colleges, one D1 college, not in the bracket, but that's fine. Okay.
NIT, here we come, though. So go
Great.
Cats.
You also hate Iowa. Iowa, not in any tournament. They refused it. Good for them.
No, but I will say, maybe this will help folks. I had some homer picks in here, as every bracket should. So tried to keep
Yeah.
that in mind with this one. But I think let's go region by region, as all
Yes.
brackets should. And since it's my control, I'm not going to go too in depth because we can go into the nuts and bolts of the tournament later. But
I agree.
hopefully this reflects what I think a average bracket will kind of look like.
And it's nice that these have the percentages of what the masses are choosing as well. So you can see where Jake's a little contrarian, where you see where Jake's
Yes.
aligned. Obviously, Auburn's the number 1 overall seed. They're going to be very popular to go all the way. Jake in this one has it. So he just needs to be contrarian with the next pick, right? Which he has Alabama, which we'll get to. But anything big from the South region here, one of the better regions, I would say, in the bracket.
No, I think I basically went chalk and then picked an upset pick that a lot of people are picking, which is Marquette has not played great down the stretch.
Mhm.
So New Mexico, who by the way has also not played great down the stretch.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, a 10 seed always wins, if not multiple. Marquette is an easy one to bet against right now with the way they're playing, and whoever wins that game, I think, is going to lose to Michigan State. I think if anything, where I'm probably off is I'm going to be honest. I fucking hate Tom Izzo. So
Yeah,
I can only have Michigan State go so far. And
sure.
so I really today a couple times almost split it because I'm like, oh, Michigan State is a good team. But Iowa State is balanced. So like that's the only one that I'm like, that was a hard overhead pick here. But otherwise, the only thing I'd say about Auburn, we'll get to this at the end. Um, I feel like they're the 1 seed. Everyone's like, oh, there's a banana peel in front of them, which I like.
Yeah.
I do not like picking when everyone's like, "Oh, this 1 seed fucking sucks." They literally don't. They're the
Mhm.
number
They're
1
great.
overall seed. So, that was an easy bracket buster for me of like I went through my current pool. There's like 40 brackets in it with our family one. Um, like 2 people picked Auburn. I was like, "Oh, easy peasy. I'm gonna pick Auburn and maybe win the pool just because I picked the number 1 overall seed."
Yeah, yeah, I think that's completely fair. They're not playing well down the stretch, but I think they are very, very good. So
Yeah,
all they got to do is turn it on. Let's go to the West. Florida's number 1 seed down here. Florida's playing super well.
yeah.
I would say the top 2 seeds are really good, but then there's a lot of questions in this bracket. So, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, overall thoughts. I think this one, the only things I would point out is I really like St. John's
Mhm.
in Florida here. I think Florida, as we talk about the tournament in general, is going to be like everyone's. This is they might be the hottest team in the country, seed aside.
Yeah,
So I like them a lot. I don't think it's like who are they going to run into that you'd be like, oh, maybe you like if it wasn't Florida, like if that was any other 1 seed, last year's champion 8 seed UConn is a sexy pick. It's the
I
only
know.
I know. It's the only one I was thinking about, and because it's Florida, no one's doing it. Like those percentages are still
Right,
pre-
yeah, that's crazy.
pretty low. I also think Maryland's playing good. Like Maryland was another one. I'm like, are they a 4 seed that makes a run? Like they're really good in the Big Ten, but this one I just kind of fed to the chalk. Like I'm not picking KU ever. So that
Right.
was one where I was like, and a good year to not pick KU. But yeah, I was like, even if they won, I think they'd lose to St. John. But otherwise, no, if honestly, percentage wise, the only thing I did here that was a little controversial is I didn't pick Drake.
True, true, and notably, Jake is a Kendrick guy, so there's a big reason for that right there.
That's right. Yeah.
Also, the college sports committee is always going to do something for them.
Yeah.
There's always a nice little wink, wink. Of course, Calipari is going to be playing Kansas in the first round.
Correct.
Well, like that
Correct.
was the most lock thing of all time. So it wouldn't be surprising to see Kansas bow out because of that as well. So not super surprising there.
I
Okay.
will don't know if I want to jump this too early because we can get into when we talk overall tournament talk. I get nervous when everyone's like, boy, Patino's got something in St. John's. Like I'm like, oh,
That's
like that makes me so nervous that we're all team Patino.
that is a very strange thing. Petito's on fire right now, and they're doing like a little documentary thing. And I don't know if I've been more excited for a documentary because everything he says is complete fire.
Yeah.
It's the funniest thing of all time. Saying he wants to kill himself every time his team's at the free throw line is fantastic coaching.
But overall,
Okay,
that half of the bracket, easy
yeah,
peasy, I kind of think. Like overall, everything outside the Midwest is you can see those percentages kind of line up that way. But like I know it's ones, but it's like it just feels like it's gonna be if it's not ones, like maybe Auburn loses to Iowa State or Michigan State, but I'd be shocked if those teams aren't in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Looking at the Midwest, then we got Houston as the 1 seed here.
Yeah,
Houston's been pretty solid the past few years. Kind of peter out come tournament time. Otherwise, Gonzaga's an interesting 8 seed there. They're usually higher. Purdue's usually coming in super hot, and then everyone's like, "We know Purdue's gonna fuck up at some point," but this
correct.
year, you're saying right away. That's you're going with Purdue bias there, or what's your thoughts?
Every fun Cinderella metric you look at tells you you should pick High Point. I actually don't like that they matched up against Purdue because I wanted to be the one who picked Purdue. But I actually, again, 1-4 seed usually loses. And
Mm,
I think I picked a couple to lose or like thought about it at some point in the day. But I just like High Point and everything I looked at was like, yeah, you could freaking beat Purdue. So that's what I did. I didn't love that pick. I did love my favorite pick, I think, in the first round is everyone's gonna fucking pick Gonzaga. I don't
yeah,
even think if Gonzaga wins, they go that far this year, and Georgia's good. And just because Gonzaga is Gonzaga, they're gonna get picked a lot in my other pools. So I'm like, oh,
mhm,
I'll pick Georgia. That feels like at the very least a coin flip if Georgia's like maybe not a better team. Like they also I the only thing I don't love about this bracket and just any bracket I picked, any team in the SEC. I'm like, how good are you? I
yeah.
don't know. Your division's so fucking good. I don't know.
They were so good this year, but it feels like they could run into like a little Big Ten
Yes.
conundrum like last year. Big Ten was so good. I think it was last year. And then they go to the tournament, they're all tired and fatigued, and they all lose right away.
And
So
that's all over this Midwest bracket for me. That was the toughest one. But that's what I was thinking of High Point. And then otherwise, I think Utah State is another everyone's picking that upset over UCLA or like it's one of the more popular ones.
yeah,
And then otherwise, Clemson is my like who's my mid seed to make a run. Clemson is, I believe, the mid seed I had going the farthest. They're the one I have beating a 1 seed. Clemson's really good. They just got hurt, but they're getting a couple of their guys back. So yeah, they were one I was like, you've been in a good conference all year and you made deep runs in the past.
and correct
Uh
me if I'm wrong, but Dabo also coaches the basketball team, right?
I think at the very least, he's far too close to the bench. I think
Sure.
like they come in for huddles and he's like, good game, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
He's like a booster.
Dabo's brought up plays the entire time for sure.
Yeah, I will say I don't know if I feel worse about any of my Final Four picks in Tennessee. I just like
Really? Okay.
literally Tennessee's so good, but like here's what I don't like: Tennessee, Kentucky. Like I'm like it feels like
Yeah,
one of you two won't be here, and it was a coin toss for me which one of you it was. I think Tennessee is like better, and
yeah,
then like so it just felt like okay, I don't know if I love Tennessee over Kentucky. I'll pick Tennessee, and then I'm like oh, I can't put Clemson in the Final Four. I just like with being a little banged up. Like maybe I should have stuck to my guns, but I was like, I'll do the twos matchup. That feels like the best like bang for my buck in trying to be competitive in a bracket. Like if I was trying to be perfect, I would have picked Clemson. But since I'm trying to
sure.
win a pool, I picked Tennessee.
Yeah, that makes sense. Give yourself a little bit of wiggle room there.
Yeah.
So then the East, I would say if the what is it? South isn't the best bracket, East might be
Yes.
the best one. Duke number 1 here. Obviously, you have Duke going all the way to the
Yeah.
Elite 8. Any other big crazy things other than the Fighting Mormons getting a win over Wisconsin?
I'm in the pool with a bunch of people from Wisconsin, so my strategy is to not have
Sure.
the Badgers go too far, because you won't gain anything, and have them win one game, see what happens. Otherwise, I like everything you read on Alabama is, oh, maybe they won't drop 90. Cool. Well, maybe they will though. So,
Yeah.
I like them a lot. Like literally, if two of the other 1 seeds weren't in the same conference, like Alabama is up there. So I think this whole thing is a toss up. I did like once it got down to it, I'm like, "Ah, but I do hate Duke. So
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
Duke in the Final Four, I had for a moment, and I didn't love the visual of like 3 1 seeds in there with Tennessee. Um, I don't know, but coin flip on that day. If I get down to it and it's Duke, Alabama, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I probably should have picked Duke. But
But
if
roll tide.
Alabama gets past, like, I think there's one team in that bracket that can beat Alabama, and I think it's Duke. So,
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, obviously I had them go in the championship game, and then we get and see now it all makes me nervous because once I got down there, I'm like, oh god, all these teams are from the SEC. Who know? Like
Mhm.
Tennessee has to play 3 SEC teams. Maybe they win the damn thing. But I went Alabama and Auburn. And yeah, I stuck it out with the number 1 overall seed because I don't know, they're deep, they're well coached, and you know, that they're one of the best teams in, I think, my safest route to the Final Four, honestly.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah,
So
that's a
in the
control bracket. There you go.
in yeah, in the end, Jake has Auburn over Alabama. But this is what we're all here for now.
Let's get
Jake
to the
picked
big
that
ones now. Yeah,
Jake picked that the way you pick your own bracket. It is what it is. But now we're hunting perfect brackets today.
that's right.
And Jake, with your first one, this one's called It Takes a Village by you. Please tell me what your methodology was for this one.
This would be the one that is most fitting to be our perfect bracket, but would probably be the one that makes me saddest because I don't know if I'd be if I'd legally be allowed to keep any of the money because I submitted this bracket, but I did not make any of the picks. Because as we know,
Oh,
Zach, it takes a village to raise a child and to raise a bracket. So I did a group phone call with 4 of my most trusted advisors, and I didn't put you in it because I knew you were doing 4 brackets already. So I did
great.
Claire, my partner and fiance. I did Emily of the I Don't Think So podcast, and my sister. I did my mom, Brenda Osmond, and I did the ringer, of course, Pete, Papa Pete,
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
in here. So here's what I'll say. This is the bracket I'm most excited to talk about because 2
Okay.
things happened very fast, Zach. I realized I went through the games. Let me say how I exactly did it. I literally went through and I went, all right, game 1, dad. Game 2, mom. And I went through 4 in a row. We did not consensus it. I just assigned out games for people to pick. What I thought might happen was groupthink. That did not happen at all. Everyone picked just their own like thing throughout, which was awesome.
Okay.
I also felt about halfway through, maybe this would be a great way to get a perfect bracket because I about halfway through, I'm like, I can't control if they just fuck with me. It's like I did think about this before I did this, but there's nothing to say they have to take this seriously.
Mm, that's
So
true.
yes, so you'll see each of their personalities come out a little bit in the picks.
Okay.
But I would say overall, there's 2 trends to watch, which is well, I guess one for each, which is as you can see with the bracket, dad got his hands on a lot of the 1 seeds and chalk picks, and my dad is like not a risk taker, so he stuck chalk.
Sure. Yep.
My mom, even more so than my dad, is a Big Ten diehard. So if
Sure.
so if my mom got a hold of any Big Ten picks, they were winning. So you'll see that a lot. Everyone, all 4 of us, like or all 5 of us, I guess I didn't pick, but all of them like the Badgers and Marquette.
Of course.
So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
best state in the union.
best state in the union, certainly the best one we live in. So you could see that a little bit. But you could still see the Wisconsin pessimism of like, oh, not too far.
Of
Like,
course. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, none of them made it like all the way.
we've
But
seen
they
Wisconsin Duke before. We know that story.
correct. And the age old story of Marquette, Florida. That
Yes.
and then Claire was the best addition to this because Claire was the chaos pick. Claire got a pick. Why not Robert Morris? Tell me I'm wrong.
Sure.
And Emily is great at these things because if Emily got through, let me see one that's a good example. If Bryant wins their first round game,
They're hot.
they're hot
Yeah.
100%. Grand Canyon. If you don't let Grand Canyon get on
Hey,
a roll, you think they're not making it to the Sweet 16?
go Lopes. They're great. They're a party school.
Yes. So some of that came out here. So I would say overall, it kind of landed. I liked it because it was a fun mix of like, listen, sure, it was a funny, wacky, random bracket that ended with Florida Duke. Like I was like, oh, okay, that we can do. Like that might be the championship game. So still okay. I think looking through the list, like, yeah, some of the 215 matchups are the craziest ones. And here's what I really liked. None of my other brackets, no matter what methodology I used, really gave any credence to the first four teams. My panel did not
In
care
here. Okay, great.
because my
Yeah.
panel went, I'm pretty sure UNC's winning. And therefore, I think they could make a run. Um, so, yeah, that's what that bracket looks like.
Okay, fair enough. I do like that. I mean, the cream ultimately rises to the top. It's called March Madness not because of what happens from the Sweet 16 on. It's because of what happens during that first weekend. So I do like that at the very end, you end up getting. I'm on the wrong bracket now. You end up getting.
It's gonna say
Uh,
spoiler.
yeah, no, I guess so. You end up getting the one seeds in the end, except for Marquette, who is one seed to us. Okay,
Yes.
we got any given Sunday. What's this one about?
I flipped a coin. I flipped a coin, and you can see this throughout. This is gonna be to the dogs. I sent Zach a video of what this looked like, but to be honest, I wanted Louie to help me, my dog, Terrier Mix, help me pick my bracket. No interest. I tried it two separate occasions. The first time he was so tired, I was like reading names to him, and one of them being Louisville. I was like, it has your name in it. No reaction. Deadpan the whole time. Then I tried it today when he was hyped up. He just parked at everything.
Okay, he loves basketball. That's good.
I was like, okay, never mind. So I flipped a coin. I'm not gonna lie, the coin did me good. The
Okay.
I did it where heads was top seed in the matchup, tails was bottom seed. So as you look through my random picks, here's where the coin fucked me. A couple of the 116 matchups, to be
Yeah,
honest. So
yeah,
if anyone listen, no one else is picking this bracket except me. So
that's true.
the coin was good there. So I liked it for a perfect bracket. I kind of hate it for a pool because
Yes.
I'll for sure lose the first weekend. But uh as we went on, I got on a heads hot streak, and all of a sudden my final four was Marquette, St. John's, Duke, and Kentucky. I was
Yeah,
like,
not a bad Final Four.
no, St. John's, Duke, and then St. John's won. I was like, holy shit, good bracket coin. So yeah, I mean, no crazy runs. I got like more heads than anything. Like Drake went pretty deep, Louisville went pretty deep, Marquette went
Yeah,
far. Um Wisconsin, the coin knows. But
with
yeah, Robert,
UNC
yes, yeah. Sweet 16
or
is crazy
or
land.
South
Yeah,
Dakota State
yeah.
or whoever they're playing.
Yes, Robert Morris and Liberty, and like a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
yeah, the Sweet 16's a mad land, but the Elite Eight took care of it. So, again, as folks roll into the podcast here, this was a coin flip, which I kind of like because I was almost like, do I do this again and just see which bracket's crazier?
true.
But I like this one because I don't know, the winner might actually happen. So that's a
Yeah,
coin flip. Any given Saturday, Zach, or
any given
Thursday or
Saturday.
Friday.
Yeah, madness knows no terms, and I think this is your last one. Then points on the board.
My last one, which I like because I think it's setting up some of the deeper dives you went. I obviously went different versions of arbitrary for the most part. Points on the board is points on the board, Zach. I was like, if I could pick one statistic, what am I going to pick to focus in on? And I focused on point differential. And so this is a bracket purely based on point differential with preference given to point differential within the last month.
Okay, okay.
So if they were within 5 points of each other, I gave the edge to the team with the higher point differential in there. And honestly, this stat works awesome, except two teams fucking took my lunch money. If you look at it, it is basically like the top 10 of this is all the 1 and 2 seeds, and then fucking UC San Diego and
Hey,
Gonzaga.
they're a wagon.
They are. UC San Diego. So the fun part of this is the final four, they were all in different brackets. The final four are the top 4 point differential teams within the last month.
Mhm.
And I was wondering, like, I hadn't looked at the bracket yet, so I'm like, oh, I wonder if some of these teams will knock each other out. They all happen to be in separate brackets, so I was like, okay, well, I know what my final four is.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, overall, I kind of wondered how chalk this would be. If anything, this was the bracket that had the most influence on my other brackets because I was like, it at least illuminated like, okay, the first round matchups like not BYU, Yale. Yale has a higher point differential. Like, yes, they're in a shitty conference. Sorry, Ivy
mhm,
League. Please
yeah,
get us jobs for the future. But, for basketball, it is what it is. However, they beat the crap out of them. So, like, at
sure,
least they've got that going on. But then they had to run into UC San Diego. So,
yeah.
what are you going to
What
do?
are you gonna do?
I will say, not that I want to pick UC San Diego, I think on its own to go like UC San Diego making the Sweet 16. Like, I think so many people would have picked them over Michigan if Michigan hadn't just won the Big Ten tournament.
Sure, sure.
Like a week ago, I think like that percentage just swings 25%. Like that's a tough matchup for Michigan. Like
Mhm,
UC San Diego just doesn't play anybody, but they don't miss shots either. So,
right, they put up
um,
points.
yeah, so they're a wagon. But I mean, as you look around, any ones that kind of stand out, but otherwise, it's just like, for the most part, it's just like really good teams overall, and then a couple like High Point, who I think some people are picking.
Yeah.
Yeah, High Point and McNeese were good picks. And then yeah, otherwise it just depended on who you ran into when. But I mean, for the most part, I kind of like that it just informed which mid-tier teams I should maybe pay a little closer attention to.
It's interesting that, it says the percentage based on, like, the matchup that's there.
Yes.
So, in your final 4 here, you got Duke and Zaga, 98% pick Duke. That means at least 50 people have this final 4 so far, which is interesting. I'm surprised.
Yeah, whereas like no one has UC San Diego, right?
No, no. No one's picked them. You're the first. It says 0%. You're a part of the 0.
Yeah, it's so I would have loved if UC San Diego's run could have came a game sooner. Maybe I would have been part of the 100, but yeah, I mean overall, I that one is the one I'm like of all of mine where I'm like pick one of yours, it could be perfect.
Mhm.
Maybe
This
I
is
found a bracket that freaking works. This was one I was like, if this bracket does good, I'm using this every year, and I'll just common sense my way out of the Gonzagas and the UC San Diegos of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense. It definitely is interesting for, like, a tiebreaker or something.
Yes, for sure. Like, what I would have loved to look more into is, like, I would love to break down, like, further on, like, I would have loved to do point differential within the last month against ranked opponents,
Sure.
because it's like, did UC San Diego play anybody of any caliber whatsoever? I don't know, but they are wagon, and that's what it is.
Mhm.
But Zach, I am now so excited to turn it over to you. You're going to tell me about which of your brackets are perfect.
Okay, let's see which one is first here. Okay, so this is the next man up bracket. I am also on UC San Diego, Jake.
Okay, we're in,
I took this
folks.
I took it a step further. They are my champion in this bracket. Um,
You and
so
I are turning that 0% up.
yeah, we are. I mean, somehow people have them in the Final Four against Oklahoma. It looks like 68% pick UC San Diego if they make it
That's a good
to that
matchup for
battle.
them. Yeah.
It is great matchup. Okay, so next man up. So everyone, you get to the tournament. Teams that have one guy. It's like, okay, we're just gonna pour all of our defense on this one guy, and you can shut the team down. We're gonna take away your best weapon. We're gonna make you play left-handed, right? In this methodology, I'm grading everybody, picking every matchup based on how many points the second leading scorer has for each team. So, as you can see, UC San Diego has the second their second leading scorer scores the most out of anybody in this bracket, which would be 16.4 points. That's not too shabby. Not at all. Purdue would be number 2, and Purdue is at 16.1, so pretty close. But honestly, again, in terms of tiebreakers and stuff, if it's like a team that these guys are going against that are a really good defensive team or something, it's interesting because it just means they're a more well-rounded team, right? So it didn't go too crazy, I don't think, other than UC San Diego. There's Yale beating Texas A&M. But honestly, if that happens, San Diego probably beats Yale.
Yeah.
San Diego could very much beat Creighton if they're there. I have Bryant here. Bryant maybe doesn't get past Michigan State, as you said before, but also,
If
as you
we
said
get
before,
UC San Diego Bryant, all bets are off. We're turning up. We're live streaming that game.
for sure, 100% from the arena. We have to go. But yeah, UC San Diego is a weapon. We all know that. In the West region, anything crazy? Not really. Not really. I mean, we got Florida losing to Oklahoma, and we got St. John's bowing out to Arkansas. I think Arkansas is an interesting, trendy team just because of Calipari, but
Yeah.
never know there. And the one thing that really made me feel disgusting about this is Purdue, as we have talked about. But I mean, they got the Big Ten Player of the Year. They got a good team. Zach Edey is gone, so Purdue could absolutely go on a run, and could Wisconsin go on a run? They got two pretty good scores, and their second leading score, I think, averages 15.5. So
If they
not
don't
great.
have to run into BYU, honestly, they'll
Yeah.
be okay.
BYU's their kryptonite.
They're not a great matchup. Like everything I saw at BYU was like they're really good against slow paced teams. Okay, well, there we
Well,
are.
I kind of did this basically like, if some team takes away Cooper Flag, what's Duke going to do? And what's Duke going to do? They're going to lose to Baylor. And that made my heart happy, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
That is what this whole tournament's about. How quickly can we get Duke to go home? And if it's the first weekend, that's awesome. But what a tournament.
The only the only thing if I were you looking at it that I wouldn't love is it's a bummer that but telling of your statistic, I agree with you. All of your one seeds bow out in the, the second round.
They do. They do. I was kind of surprised Florida did. I thought Florida would be the team to go on a run because they're pretty balanced, but
That might be more telling about
balanced.
Oklahoma, seeing how far they go. But
Yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah, it is interesting for sure. But yeah, no one seeds in the final four. I don't know if that pops up again, but let's look at the next one.
It's a team sport.
It-
I like that.
Okay. Okay, we got Purdue again, unfortunately. This is the I'm loving it bracket, Jake. And for this one, it took too much time. It took a lot of research, but that just means it's probably going to work. And what this was, I looked up every single team's basketball arena's address, plugged it into Google Maps, and whichever one is the closest to a McDonald's is the winner here. McDonald's is usually a pretty big sponsor of college basketball. So what's to say now with the new NIL deals? Little money greasing the wheel here. We need more McDonald's as close to campus as possible. So as you can see, some colleges, a lot of McDonald's really close. Some colleges do not. What is the big upset here? Creighton. Creighton in Nebraska. They love them some Mickey D's, and that is why they go all the way to the Final Four. And who could blame them? Ole Miss pretty good too. But yeah, that was not great here. What was that?
Vandy.
Vandy? Where are they? Oh, yeah. I mean, I got the data here. Vandy's got one like super freaking close.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's going on a tear.
Vanderbilt's got a McDonald's 0.4 miles away from their arena, if you can believe it.
Wow.
That's incredible. I mean, let me talk through some of these numbers. Some of the more surprising ones. Michigan was one. Michigan's got a McDonald's over 2 miles away. I thought they'd be a little bit closer than that. I thought, it's a pretty developed region. You have a McDonald's nice and close, but that's not true. I will say 80-ish% of these probably are all within a mile and a half. Most of them within a mile. A little sad, but it is what it is. UConn, 6.6 miles away from their arena is the closest McDonald's.
That's a crime.
I know. And maybe that's the reason why they will not three-peat, because 2025 is the year of Ronald himself, I would say.
I do like the dichotomy of St. John's, who going into this, I would have hypothesized like New York. I'm like, you can't be that. You have to be a stone's throw away from McDonald's all times. But Purdue, opposite. There's two things in town. It's the arena and McDonald's. So I like those two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, and St. John's 0.4 miles away from their arenas and McDonald's. Purdue is 0.3. They got it right there. I was hoping there'd be one that had a McDonald's in the arena somehow, like a little pop-up Did not find that, unfortunately. But nonetheless, this could be the perfect bracket if Big Cat McDonald's has, their hands in the bucket here, so to speak. Any other huge takeaways from this one? Other than, Vanderbilt upsetting Duke. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, I guess it was just one. Hats off to you and your research because I'm sure that got tedious at some point, and I love that you stuck through with it. And
Yeah,
two, I'm surprised this wasn't more of a coin flip, to be totally honest with you.
true. True. Some would say it is, but you know what? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. Is there any take that you feel good about in this? Like Florida making it pretty
Oh,
far.
St.
And like,
John's. St. John's.
yeah, that's true. I do like St. John's a lot.
Otherwise, the take in it that if it wasn't Purdue, honestly, like Purdue is
No.
I almost thought about like everyone else thinks Purdue's gonna die. Do I
Yeah.
just and like honestly, Purdue gets out of weekend one, just like last year. It's like, well, now they're not gonna lose because they're actually a good team. So
Right.
I actually don't think that's winning it all is not the best take in the world, but them getting to the Elite Eight, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Honestly, especially because every bracket I've looked at, people find a different reason to keep Houston out. So we'll see. But otherwise, no, I like a lot of your takes. They just probably go a little too far. Um, most of
Correct.
them, but like your Sweet 16 looks good. Your Elite Eight starts to get a little tough, But
Yeah.
if Duke and Tennessee win those matchups, the only upset you have is Creighton, So it got wild towards the end, but it's not a terrible bracket. This could honestly be this could be winning our our small pool we have now until Elite Eight weekend.
There's a chance. It just depends on what Purdue does,
Yeah.
honestly. It got a lot of wrapped up in
And
Purdue.
Colorado State. I did see them.
Go Rams. They got one nice and close.
Yeah.
I did just look. So UConn out of all 64 schools, actually not 64, it'd be 62, because I did not even take the first four into contention here.
Same.
So you know what? Depending on who wins, maybe I'll revise this just to take a look to see if one of them has a nice close McDonald's or something. But yeah, 6.6 miles is the furthest away. It's pretty, I don't know. Whatever you take from that is a good opinion, I think.
Two-time
But here
defending champs. Yeah.
I know. Maybe I should have done furthest away from McDonald's. Who knows? No, next one. Okay, wake up call bracket. There's two ways I could have gone with this, and I decided to go with the wake up call. So I looked at every team's last loss, and I either was going to go with who's the hottest team or which team got the most recent wake up call. So the most recent loss, the team who has the most recent loss is going to win. If they had a loss back in February, they're getting a little too complacent. They don't have that fire burning in their gut. They needed, like Wisconsin just lost in the Big Ten championship. That's the wake up call they needed. The other teams peaked too early. Okay. That was the other alternate name for this bracket, the peak too early bracket. So we're looking at teams who lost most recently, and tiebreaker went to the higher seed. So that's why it looks a little bit normal for some of these. So I used it sort of as like a nice little tiebreaker. But looking at it, so
I hate how similar this looks to my control bracket.
I know. Final four, though, we got Auburn, Maryland, Wisconsin, Tennessee. Not bad whatsoever. Auburn or Tennessee over Auburn would be the final there. But looking at some of these, we got Michigan State going on a run. I like that quite a bit, honestly. This is the bracket I feel best about, to be honest. Norfolk State over Florida hurts a little bit. I think that one could punish me, but honestly, I don't hate the UConn over Florida upset. So having UConn beat Norfolk State and then get to the Elite Eight there, I think works, or Sweet 16 works decently well.
I really don't mind Maryland over Florida.
No, I don't mind that either. And I don't mind Kansas getting hot. I don't think Kansas is that great, but that wouldn't be surprising.
We hadn't had a chance to talk about him yet. Texas Tech is it like, if again, another team where it's like, well, you're in Florida's bracket, so that sucks. But like Texas Tech making a run, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely fair. Looking at the Midwest here, anything crazy? I don't feel great about UCLA, but just the fact that everyone's picking Utah State, like I
Yeah,
kind of like picking them there. Obviously, Houston, they haven't lost in a while, so they lose right away. Don't love that.
that one's bad. And then like Purdue, Purdue over Houston. Honestly, Purdue gets there. That
Mhm.
is I I'm gonna take this back a little bit because saying out loud, out of all the teams that they could run into that spot, the 4 seed is the one they should be most worried about is literal math. So I don't feel as good about that take as I did a moment ago of like, yes, that is at that stage the highest seed we could face. So correct.
Mhm.
But um I I like that. Again, yeah, like you've got Purdue making a deep run. Um but honestly, like Kentucky, Tennessee, I've got that going through. I think that could happen. Besides, I don't know if I love Georgia over Houston either, but honestly, besides the Houston wrinkle, you could have nailed that bracket.
Yeah, I don't hate it
Nope.
whatsoever. And then the top one's not terrible other than, Mississippi State knocking Duke out, but honestly, if Cooper Flagg tweaks his hamstring or whatever it was again and he's out, never know. Like, who the hell knows?
I Here's one thing I like. If we get to Wisconsin, Arizona, pack your
Oh, we
bags, Wildcats. You're done.
for sure. Yeah, we got the number for sure.
The most random one-sided rivalry in March Madness history. Probably, I don't know if other fan bases even know this is on a radar. The percentage of, especially Bo Ryan, post Bo Ryan and through Bo Ryan Badgers versus the
Mhm,
Wildcats. Buzz
mhm.
Williams is still awake somewhere at night thinking about it.
Yeah, they got no shot. They hate us. They could not stand Wisconsin.
Because I was just gonna say, I really am out on Arizona. It's like the highest seed that I just really don't like for whatever reason.
Sure.
So that one feels a little like, I wouldn't have them go that far, but dude, this is a good bracket.
So I was debating, I was for sure going to look at last loss and I was debating on which way to go. So obviously, if you look at the first round, if I went with who's the hottest team, it
Yeah.
would have been just opposite for every pick. I think I like the wake up call because like I don't want Auburn to be out right away. I don't like Bryant winning right away. It would be nice to have Florida, but like the favorites kind of win more often than not.
You would have. I
I'd like
like
to
it
have
too.
Utah.
I honestly wouldn't have been that much worse though, Zach, because you would have just flipped your 1 seeds.
True. Again, I don't know. I didn't extrapolate it, right? But
Yeah. So, I
Auburn,
mean, that bracket would have gotten crazy down the stretch because I you would have had another one where it's like I think honestly you would have had another. I think UC San Diego's on like 20. Colorado State would have won it if you did hot stretch.
sure. Right.
Um,
I got a lot of 2 and 3 seeds in this one, like, making it a ways, and they would have been out.
I think this is a better version. I'm honestly like, should I use this? This is the metric where I'm like, yeah, we probably punish teams who like lose in a conference tournament setting too much.
Mhm. The committee doesn't, I can tell you that. They didn't even watch the conference tournaments.
No.
They didn't give 2 fucks.
Too many teams, Zach. Too many teams. Didn't make a
Sure.
difference.
Yeah,
All they
fair enough.
did when they looked at it is, Wisconsin shouldn't be in the Midwest.
Yeah. Yeah. Why put them there? That makes too much sense.
We got to put all the SEC teams there.
God. Why even label the regions anything? Just label them 1, 2, 3, 4 because they don't make sense.
They
Michigan State's in
literally
the South. Like,
it is frustrating when you think about like, but you're right. They didn't look at it. They just had the seeds picked, and then Wisconsin made it to the championship game of the Big Ten.
Oregon's in the East.
I know.
They couldn't
Well,
be
they're
more
in
left.
Big Ten too, so nothing makes sense. But
Yeah,
um,
that's
all I was thinking with Wisconsin is they made it to the as soon as they really didn't watch championship games. As soon as you made it to
mhm,
Sunday, that's why I told Claire about Wisconsin. I was like, they've this will have no impact. They've made it here. Congrats, you're a 3 seed. They decided Wisconsin should be a 3 seed, and they're like, oh, well, there is a 3 seed who's going to be Milwaukee. Too bad we've already said who that was. You are in the East.
mhm. Honestly, another way to do a bracket, which would be fun, we would have to pinpoint where is the most east
Oh,
place, and then just be like, who's closest or furthest away from their actual region.
I that is a good one. That is a good one. Home field advantage. Who's like
Mhm.
got the weirdest home field advantage? Yeah,
That is true. It makes no sense, but
it makes
whatever.
none. This is a good bracket. Do you have one
Okay,
more?
one more, and this is the battle royale. These are the mascots fighting each other. Who's going to win? And I didn't research what these are, so some of them, like the ominous red storm of St. John, sounds terrifying. I want no part of that. And honestly, the red storm versus the cyclones is a matchup I cannot wait to watch. Like that is going to be who's going to outstorm the other one. But we can take a look through these. There's a lot of bulldogs, by the way. Like we start out right away with the Gonzaga versus Georgia Bulldog, and I think I went with higher seed, but to be honest, I think the Bulldog from Georgia is going to beat the Bulldog from Washington. So maybe I should have flipped that. Um, but looking at the South here, I had some questions. So you can tell me where I may have gone wrong, to be honest. Blue Jay versus Cardinal. Do you have a strong opinion there? Because I did not. I was trying to figure that out.
I think Blue Jay. Blue
Okay.
Jays eat the eggs of other birds, and I think
Really? That's a
they have
fun
a
fact.
meaner streak for sure.
Okay. I was going, as we referenced before, Wisconsin Pride, State Bird. I felt pretty strongly about the Cardinal, uh, but I didn't understand they were eating eggs.
Yeah.
That's kind of badass. Okay. Wolverine versus Triton. So UC San Diego did not go anywhere. Who's hoisting the Triton? Didn't work for me.
Aggies.
Um, Aggies are farmers. Aggie stands for agriculture. So I'm thinking about Pete out there. And what is Pete going to do against a bulldog? Pete can
No
take care of
problem.
a bulldog. Yeah, easy.
Wolverine, it's a fight for his life, but he's got it.
He's got it. And then he goes up
Tiger,
against a tiger. No shot. Sorry, Pete.
does he get to keep the Triton with him from earlier? Because that,
that's that's a great point. If
yeah.
you beat, that's a fun one. Whoever you beat, you get on your team for the next fight.
Uh, that would have redone this. Okay, I'm looking through these. I'm trying to catch any Ole Miss. All the people one are funny. So like see
Yeah.
what you got. Like, okay, the Rebels, not a cyclone, correct?
No. Correct.
Spartans beat Eagles. What's Bryant?
Uh, Bears, maybe.
Oh, so you had a Spartan over them.
Yes. I mean, yeah, they got the swords. They Spartans are known for their fighting,
Oh, it's
which
a
is great.
bulldog.
Bulldog. Okay, fine. They're going to take care of a bulldog.
Yeah,
But,
no problem.
once the Spartans meet a storm like a cyclone, they're just going to get scooped up. Not much you can do.
Yeah, there's a layer to natural disasters. By the way, I've looked into the St. John's thing, but I'm only going to tell you at the end. So no worries
Okay.
there. The red storm, the ominous red storm. Okay, what's Norfolk State?
I have it written down here. Let's see. Norfolk is they're also Spartans.
Oh, so they've got some good matchups. You have them over Gators.
Yes. Yep.
Mm.
Gators, not much you can do.
Sooners, yeah, a lock. Love it over
Mm,
the Sooners. That's a good pick. And then,
mhm.
yeah, some Tigers running through the bracket. I like
Yeah.
that. Tigers over Terrapins.
Yes. I thought terrapins could be antelopes, right? Antelopes are just going to run away.
I was
And
just gonna say, who'd you have Maryland beat? Yeah,
it's
okay,
it's pretty much like sustaining. You know what I mean? Like who's
yeah.
going to last the longest? The turtle's going to last.
You have Texas Tech beating the Tigers.
They got guns. Just bam, done. Like they're Raiders, dude. What are they going to do?
It's true. Okay. I'm not gonna tell you what St. John's is yet. Let's go to the other side of the bracket. I want to take a look
They're a
over
red
here.
storm. I'm not going just mascot, by the way, because some mascots they don't really match.
Well, I want you to keep Red Storm because I think you are playing it the letter of the law. I looked into it and it doesn't mean what you think it means, but I love it. I think
Okay.
I think we should call their bluff, and that's what a red storm is. It's an ominous natural disaster, and
No,
not what
Purdue's one I struggled with.
the Boilermakers.
Yeah, they're a train, right? But
They are
like
people
they're
who make
pretty
trains.
great. If you're standing on the track, you're done so. But see, it's hard to stop a train, but I think the Fighting Illini are clever enough they can hop on the train and stop it. That's where it got to. But if it's an animal, I think Purdue's going to beat an animal.
I hate to break. They're not a train. They're the people who make trains. They're boiler
Really?
makers.
Oh, you're right. Does that mean they have trains on their side though?
They can operate a train. That's 100. That's so fair. That's so fair. I like that. I'm still with you. I think that's good.
Okay. You're right though. You're right.
I like the Illini pick.
Yes. Yes.
The Blue
You know,
Devils is a tough matchup.
yeah, Blue Devils. What are we thinking? Do they got magical powers or are they just like little assholes? I didn't really understand what a Blue Devil was. And as a Blue Devil yourself currently, could you please shed some light on what's going on there?
I think it'd be like if a team was called the Angels, we wouldn't have any questions. So I'm gonna treat it the same. There's something supernatural going on. They are on fire and they have a pitchfork. I think
Okay.
them versus an elephant is a tough
I
call.
know.
Yeah,
Roll Tide.
but yeah, and it's a racist elephant too. So what are you gonna do there? But it's also a racist devil. So
I know. And then Duke, Illinois. I felt very much like we're going back 1800. The Devil's very much the white man, and then the guy Illinois just fighting for their lives. And I felt bad about it, but history tells us the Blue Devil's gonna win.
well, Zach, only because you brought it up. I don't want you to change your pick because they changed their name, so they should do it. Any guesses now of that context of where the name the Red Storm happens to come from?
Oh no, is that Native American? Like the slaughter? Is that what it is?
It used to be the Redmen.
Oh, sure.
In the 90s,
The
they
Red
changed the
Storm?
name to the Red Storm, but there are some mascot depictions of them as a giant storm, so I think you're good. It definitely was changed in the 90s to be like basically a group of
Sure.
Native Americans. So, but I kind of like it because it's revenge for the Illini. St. John has
Sure.
become something more, and Duke can't
Yeah.
handle it. I kind of like it. We're telling a story here.
This is a story. This was one of my favorite ones to do. And if anyone has any disputes about some of
That's
these
a
matchups,
shocking upset for Iowa State, though. They had to feel good about their matchups until they ran into the Red Storm.
I know. What are you gonna do? Strength on strength there. But I would love to know in the comments if there's one of these that I got wrong. Please let me know. Like which matchup is the Badger actually going to beat a Cougar? I didn't know. I thought a Cougar probably had the upper hand. I wasn't for sure though.
I also always forget that BYU's mascot isn't just a Mormon.
I almost said the Fighting Mormon there. Either way, you never know. You never know. I mean, is a Grizzly going to beat a Badger? I didn't think so. Badgers are scrappy. Grizzlies really aren't that mean. So, not sure.
If I had to pick one that I'm like I would disagree with, honestly, it would be I think a Gator's tough. I think it depends on how wet what they're standing on is.
Spartans have swords and shields.
Yeah,
Like,
they can't swim though, can they? So it really depends on where you get them. Is it raining?
That's good point. All these are great points. And I also took into account, like, if I'm a Spartan, we're going back to Sparta, not Sparta, Wisconsin. We're talking Sparta over there in the
They'd
Middle
be
East.
tough too, though. Aggies.
That's true. But if they see a gator, they're like, whoa, what the fuck is this thing? Like, this is something they've never encountered before. That's +1 for the gator. The gator's not going to question what's that. What's this man?
This man's holding the circle. I got him.
They're all standing in this weird stance like they're about to kick a field goal, basically, is what the Spartans did. And they're just shoving swords everywhere.
But it also depends on the gator. I've seen some gators I thought I could take.
Oh, for sure. Some of them, I mean, I've watched Swamp Monsters before, and I've seen some of those shows where they're hunting gators. Some of them give guys a run for their money. It's kind of scary.
Also, put a pin in this idea for next week. If we need to do something bracket related, should 100% do like a Discovery Channel show, History Channel show bracket.
Some of the, watch out for the Curse of Oak Island. That is,
I know. Oak Island and Swamp People are on a collision course.
I mean, if there's one thing I know about the Curse of Oak Island is that they cannot be stopped in whatsoever. They are determined, and they will continue on
That's true.
and on. in on. Let's really quick. Let's speed run a wheel to pick our final bracket, Jake.
Let's do it. And if you want to let us know who you've got win, put them in the comments. We appreciate you all listening to this new season of Fantasy Flurry. I was going to say Flurry Sports.
Yeah, Flurry Sports. And by the way, if you're listening to audio, this season we're really going to make a point to do a lot of video stuff on YouTube. So I think the best place to watch or listen to this will be on the Flurry Sports YouTube channel. So please head over there. Let's start with this wheel here, and this is how we're going to do it. So the number 1 seed has 16 entries into this wheel. The 16 seed has 1 entry. Let's just see who wins this first one. We're starting with Auburn. And
Close game.
That is a close game. Let's mark that down. So Auburn's going to get the win there.
This is what we're doing. We're just spinning through. Let's do it. Okay.
Okay. Louisville is 8. Creighton is 9. Let's see. Here we go.
Oh, good win.
That is a great win for Louisville. Maybe we'll do all of the seeds of that one. So now let's spin it again. We're going to Mississippi State. Mississippi State is the 8th seed. Here we go.
This is smart by you.
Thank you. Mississippi State gets the win.
Wow.
I love it. Love it. Okay. Next one is going to be. Oh, it's down here. Okay. Why am I missing it? UConn versus Oklahoma. UConn, the 8 seed. Oklahoma, the 9 seed. And UConn gets the win there. Next, we got Gonzaga versus Georgia. The Bulldogs facing off.
This should be 9 seed for percentages. Fuck the percentages, though.
Yeah. You know what? We're not nerds. We're not paying attention to the numbers. Okay, let's go ahead and do all of the 1 and 16s now quickly. 116, 116. Okay. This first one is going to be for Duke and whoever Duke has to play. Easy win for Duke. That's probably pretty fair. Next one's going to be Houston versus SIU. Okay, another one, another easy one. I'm hoping. I mean, this better not be the one. We're pretty forward on it.
We're good.
Okay. Thank goodness. Okay, so now let's go through the 5 and 12s. These are the ones that people love to get all juiced up picking upsets for. So 5, 12. Here we go. This first one is for Michigan and UC San Diego, our darlings.
Oh, they're doing it.
Oh, let's stop. Thank God. Love that.
UC San Diego, by the way, for audio only.
Oh, yes.
Go to YouTube.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Oregon versus Liberty. Liberty, the 12. And this is a close one, but it looks like Oregon's going to pull that out.
Ooh, that'll bum some people out. People like Liberty.
They do. Liberty Bibberty. Next, we got Memphis versus Colorado State. Colorado State, the 12. People love to hate on Memphis.
Yes, not the wheel, though. The wheel doesn't hate.
Wheel has no bias, and that's why Clemson versus McNeese in this next one. Clemson 5. This is an interesting one.
This is big for my bracket. Oh,
Nope.
fuck you, wheel.
It is what it is, though.
McNeese.
This is a nice little hedging bracket for you. McNeese pulls off the upset. Okay, I mean, let's just jump into Purdue versus High Point, shall we? 4 versus 13. We, unfortunately, I would say, are pretty pro Purdue at this moment.
Yeah. I'd take a hedge here. I
would too.
We're not going to get it, though.
We're not going to get it. Dangerous game for Purdue, though. Okay, so Purdue gets the win. In this next one, we have Maryland versus Grand Canyon. And Grand Canyon? Oh, it's a buzzer. Maryland comes and gets that win.
This is electric, people.
This is electric. This is the best content we've ever done. Okay, next 413 A&M versus Yale. Yale the 13. Oh,
Hey, now.
goodbye, nerds. Goodbye. The Aggies.
Farmers win
15.
again. Put your hand in some dirt.
That's right. Arizona versus Akron. Akron the 13 here. Jake is pretty anti-Arizona, but he's going to have to wait. Arizona gets this win.
Hey, in Akron, for what it's worth, as much as I'm anti-Arizona, I haven't picked either one bracket. I don't believe.
6-11 now. We got BYU and VCU. 6-11.
By the way, this is the bracket I'm now rooting to be perfect because we have the most video evidence of us just spinning a fucking wheel.
True. Show this on the news, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so this first one we got BYU gets the win. Ole Miss versus either SD, SU, or UNC.
I would take a play-in game win here because no one's going to pick them. We're not going to get it, though.
Nope. I mean, I feel like at least one playing game is going to.
Always.
Yeah, they're going to get a win. 6-11, we got Illinois versus the playing game.
Texas Xavier. Xavier's good. They're the one I'd lean towards, but not this time.
No. Okay, Illinois gets the win there. And last 6-11, it's Missouri versus Drake.
Drake is probably the darling Cinderella pick.
But no. Sorry, Drake. Another loss for Drake this year. Hate to see it.
So far. Hold on. Is our only upset fucking McNeese?
At the moment.
God damn it, Wheel. Okay.
Don't chirp the wheel. Now they're going to go on a run. Okay, so we got Texas Tech. Is a 3.
This is a good bracket by the Wheel.
UNC Wilmington. 14. Okay. Here we go. Will the Red Raiders get upset? And it's going to be close, but they won't. A lot of close games in this first round if the Wheel is any indication. Okay, we got Kentucky versus Troy. Kentucky, the 3 seed. First year without Calipari, though, right? Is this his first year? Okay. Kentucky gets the win. Good job, Kentucky. Next.
It's us.
Oh, Wisconsin, Montana. I was bummed to see Wisconsin pull Montana. I like to root for the Grizzlies, but can't do it. But
you can root for me here.
Oh no! This is a very Wisconsin-like upset.
The most it could have pointed at a 14 seed, by the way.
Yeah, the Wheel understands what's going on here. 3-14 is Iowa State and Lipscomb. Is anybody a fan of Lipscomb? Let me know. Well, the Wheel's a fan. Look at that. Okay. You called out the Wheel. The Wheel's picking upsets. Let's go to the 7 and 10, a very popular upset according to the numbers. We got Marquette, the 7 seed in this first one. Like you were saying before, a lot of people picking against Marquette in the brackets.
Not the Wheel, though.
No, Shaka Smart gets his team ready for this first round matchup at least. Now we got St. Mary's and Vanderbilt. Does the Wheel also take McDonald's locations into account? They do not. Okay. St. Mary's. You know, I'm happy to see no Loyola Chicago. How about you? Fuck Sister Jean. I think we can.
I like Sister Jean for a weekend. She could have made it into a game.
But we got an upset, Jake. We got Utah State beating UCLA, an upset you like a lot.
Great pick.
The Wheel's on your side. This last one, we got Kansas and Arkansas.
That's what I'm talking about, Wheel. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Jake's very pro Wheel all of a sudden.
Yeah, the Wheel's really run. The Wheel's a risk taker. I didn't realize.
Okay, so now we're going to the 2 seeds. We got St. John's was this first one. We love ourselves the Red Storm, but Omaha has a way to get a little sneaky. Not this time, though. The ominous Red Storm does its thing. Tennessee Wofford
Will the Wheel be the first person to pick Wofford?
in the history. Oh,
It will be.
you called them out, and Wofford gets the win. Wow. Wow. Brackets busted. Not this one, though.
If it gets that game right, this is a perfect bracket.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Alabama, Robert Morris.
People
Little
like Robert
terrified.
Morris a little bit, but Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, of course, as the show always is. And then finally, we got Michigan State versus Bryant for our final first round matchup. March is the month of Izzo, and it does continue here. Okay. The round of 32 is set. This first one, we got Auburn, 1 seed, taking on Louisville, the 8 seed. Definitely a dangerous one, I think, with the way Auburn finished the year. But Auburn has its head on straight and gets that win.
Right, and there
Love to
should
see
be
it.
some other 1 and 8 matchups. Yeah.
Yes. Duke and Mississippi State. Will Cooper Flag lead the Blue Devils? He will.
Okay.
He will. We also have Houston Gonzaga and Florida UConn for 1 seeds. This one's for Florida UConn, though.
This was past Wheel. The Wheel used to be chalk, you know?
That's true. That's true. Florida gets the win over the back-to-back champs. And now Houston plays Gonzaga here. And Houston's lockdown defense sends Gonzaga home. No second weekend for them. Okay.
Sad weekend for Drew Timme, who I'm assuming is still playing.
I would assume so. So now let's go A&M and yours and my favorite, UC San Diego. I believe I have that right. 4 and a 12. Yes. Okay. Here we go. And UC San Diego's run comes to an end. I hate that. I really hate that.
I like that all of our brackets aren't hanging on UC San Diego. I like it a little bit.
Let's go Ole Miss and Lipscomb. So 6 versus a 14. Here we go. What will the running Rebels do?
Oh, easy. Easy for the Rebs.
Easy win for the Rebs. We got Michigan State and Marquette 2 versus 7. A Midwest matchup. Is it in the Midwest division, though, Jake?
No.
No, it is not. That makes sense. It's in the South, these two northern teams. But
Marquette.
Smart. Let's go.
That feels right. If Marquette gets that mashup, I feel like Shaka's got Izzo's number with no metrics to back that up. That feels right.
That does feel right. This next one's going to be Arizona 4, Oregon 5. Let's see what happens here. Arizona gets the win. Arizona's lucky and happy to see Wisconsin's knocked out so they can play a little loose, a little free. Let's go BYU 6, Montana 14. Okay, BYU, Montana, here we go. Cougs versus the Grizzlies, and the Cougs get the win. They'll celebrate with a nice cold soda pop, no caffeine. Alabama versus St. Mary's, 2 versus 7. Here we go. Does Alabama get upset? They do not. They put up 90, like Jake said. Look at that. Easy. Do we have other 2 and 7s to get out of the way? No, we do not.
No, it did not like the 2 seeds. It did not like the 2 seeds.
We got a 2 and a 10, though. We got St. John's versus Arkansas. Patino versus Calipari. Tale as old as time. And Patino gets the win. We have Texas Tech 3, Missouri 6. go. I assume this is how the committee creates their bracket as well. Looks like we got Texas Tech getting a big win there. We'll spin it again for Kentucky 3 and Illinois 6.
I'd like a Kentucky win here. Let's not get too crazy. Yeah.
I agree. Yep. Wheels on the same page as you.
The wheel wants a solid Sweet 16.
Yes. However, there's no solid Sweet 16 in sight with this matchup here. We have Utah State versus Wofford, the matchup everyone's been waiting for. Is there an upset? Hard to tell if it's an upset, but Utah State wins and knocks out Wofford.
That
Easy
could be
peasy.
right. Honestly, Utah State, a little bit of a wagon.
Okay. You heard it here. But will they beat Kentucky here? They will? They will?
A wagon.
Buzzer. Wow. Okay, Utah State. Aggies. Look at them go. Let's do St. John's and Texas Tech. A 2 versus a 3. Red Storm, Red Raiders, red everywhere. Texas Tech gets the win, the upset. Wow. Okay. We still need to
Memphis, Maryland.
Memphis, Maryland, 4 versus 5. Here we go.
What do you think of Maryland?
Maryland's always like a team that's dangerous, but
doesn't matter. Memphis.
Yep.
Sorry, didn't mean to rock you there.
No, it's good. And Memphis
Doesn't matter
now
what you think. Memphis is moving on.
Doesn't matter what you think. Here we go. Beat Florida, Memphis, if you're so good. How about that?
They just might, dude. They just might.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gators sent home. Now
the wheel is throwing its illustrious record aside.
Yes, true. Okay. We're looking at McNeese and we're looking at Purdue. One of these teams is going to come out of this slobber knocker. And it's going to be Purdue. That makes sense. But then Purdue has to face Houston.
We've been a very Purdue heavy show for verbally not liking Purdue.
True. And Purdue. Oh, wow.
That's 3 overtimes.
That is 3 overtimes for sure. Okay. Let's Houston though has to face Utah State. Good luck. It's your death sentence. Here we go. Seemingly one-sided, and it will be. Okay. Houston gets that win, and then Texas Tech versus Memphis, which kind of a fun matchup. Fun for football. Got to be fun for basketball. And
wow.
Look at that. Memphis into the Final Four. So far, Houston and Memphis in the Final Four. Let's go Auburn and A&M.
This would be big for the wheel to keep Auburn in.
It would be. But the wheel doesn't really give a shit. Kind of does its thing, but it will keep it in for now.
Yeah.
The Tigers. Moving on. And then we'll go spinning again for Duke and Arizona.
This one's a matter of character.
Wow.
Oh, Arizona.
Arizona gets to face BYU or Alabama.
And truly, if Wisconsin's not there to stop them, maybe this is what Arizona will do.
What an interesting little, just the fan bases coming together with BYU and Alabama. I feel like it would be fun to watch.
They all have cousins at the other school.
True. BYU comes up short. Alabama. Okay. Ole Miss Marquette, 6 versus 7. I feel like Marquette could go on a run here. Will they get it done?
They will.
They will. Look at that. Look at that. So now we got Marquette versus Auburn. The one of two one seeds remaining. Whoops. Here we go. Marquette, Auburn.
I think
Marquette.
Marquette.
Marquette. Wow, they did it. They did it. Good for them. And Arizona versus Alabama. Here we
We
go.
don't want Marquette, Arizona.
No, we don't. We do not.
But does the wheel care?
I don't think so, man.
Mm.
Alabama. Alabama.
You want to talk about two fan bases that don't get along?
Okay, so Final Four. We got Marquette versus Memphis. We got Alabama versus Houston. I don't mind this, to be completely honest. We'll go Alabama, Houston first.
No, this Final Four could happen.
Yes, Houston takes care of business with ease.
It's going to be our only bracket that picks Houston. All right, here we go.
Okay. We got Memphis the 5 and Marquette the 7.
The wheel loves Memphis.
They do. The wheel, yeah. Walking in Memphis. Houston versus Memphis. I mean, if Houston can pull this off, what a run. No one could see this coming. No one will pick this except for us and maybe you if you would like to lock in this. Houston in the end over Memphis. Houston's the national champions according to the wheel. Congratulations, Houston Cougars, upsetting the Tigers. Not really an upset. Look at that deception. Oh my God. Before we have a panic attack, let's get that off the screen.
Penny Hardaway's dream comes to an end there thanks to the wheel.
I was going to bring up Penny earlier. Did he get fired?
That's a great question. He's still there, isn't he?
I love Penny. I think he might not be there. I'll look really quick. Penny Hardaway is.
He is.
Okay, good. Good for Penny. He deserves it. For all the shit he's gone through, all the people giving him a hard time. Penny Hardaway is a legend. We need to treat him as such. He's not Juwan Howard. We can give Juwan Howard shit.
You took the words out of my mouth because I was like, I did the exact same thing, but opposite, where I was like, Juwan Howard is out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's anywhere. We'll go out on this. That's a fun fact.
Juwan Howard. No, I think if he's not in Michigan, I don't think he's anywhere.
He's an assistant coach for the Brooklyn Nets, which is I don't even know what that means. Like, he doesn't do anything. I would be surprised if he shows up to the building.
Yeah.
But good for him. Good for him. What if our show back? There's a real chance we just made like $1 billion.
There is a real chance. See, if you had to pick one of our brackets, we're closing on this. You pick one of our brackets right now, and you can't pick the control bracket. I'm not going to pick it either. One of our fun brackets to be leading after this weekend. Which bracket you picking? You can pick one of yours or one of mine.
So to go the entire way, I really like the Battle Royale bracket. But in terms of leading after the first weekend, because there's a lot of two of the one seeds I think get knocked out, right? Or it's close to that. I mean, maybe your coin flip bracket. I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Also 2 1 seeds out. I think my most 1 seeds remaining, but they were not kind to the 2 seeds. I think winning after one weekend might be my by committee one. I would go by committee, or honestly your McDonald's bracket.
Yeah. There's got to be.
No, after one weekend, I'm definitely doing your wake up call.
Oh, sure. The McDonald's one, all the one seeds win their first matchup as well.
Oh shoot. No, I'll go that one then, McDonald's, because your wake up call has 2 1 seeds going down. But
yeah, sure does. But
for the first weekend, that's just 2 games wrong. They count the same.
That's actually a good point. It's probably going to get every other game correct. So it is what it is.
But probably your McDonald's one weekend in. I like that.
often pick things and we revisit it. This is the most excited I am to revisit some of the things we do on the show.
Oh, you and I are going to be messaging constantly this weekend.
If one of us somehow, the last perfect bracket we have going, we are going to be all in. We are going to be on top of the moon in full belief.
We've just submitted, counting your other one, we've submitted 8 attempts, not counting my control, to perfect bracket. I would love 3 of them to still be alive after day 1.
Yes. And by the way, I'm going to upload this as...
Which might mathematically be impossible. I don't know.
Probably is. I'm going to upload this on YouTube as a standalone, how to pick the perfect bracket. We got a bunch of options here. Let us know if you have an obscure strategy to pick your perfect bracket. And also let us know which one of our brackets you're going to back. I want you to know which one you fully believe in. And put your money where your mouth is. Put some money on it. Go to a sports book, put money on it, and then share it with us when we get it correct, okay? And
Please.
If we will let you know if we're perfect next week. Trust us. And if we are, and when we are, you got to do your job and message every news station and say, get these guys on. These guys crack the code. You need to interview these geniuses who figured out college basketball. Joe Lunard-who? FlurrySports Podcast.
That's right.
We'll see you next week.
And if we aren't perfect, we're going to talk DK Metcalf.
Yes.
Ooh, no mention.
That'd be crazy. Goodbye.
Fuck yeah!